Hey guys, Miss Marcus here, and as you can see, we're back with the Master League, and this Master League, of course, if you're not up to date, is with Tottenham Hotspur. So it's a continuation of the Atletico Madrid Master League, but we're at Tottenham, because that was what everyone voted for. If you don't believe me, check either the straw poll in the description, or just check the first episode, the first 10 seconds, I actually show you the straw poll. So, yeah, we're with Tottenham, that's what was voted for, and, well, basically, I can't really complain, because that was what you wanted. So with that being said, of course, the beginning of this season, we have already beat Arsenal for the Community Shield, spoiler, and going into this episode, there are only two matches in this episode, both against, not both against Crystal Palace, but two matches in the Premier League, basically, and then there's like a middle bit where we have a little bit of transfer stuff, and at the end of it, we have a bit more transfer stuff, and then we basically have like a final squad, what potentially will look like in our squad, which is looking really good by the end of this episode. You actually see how amazing I've actually changed the squad look quite a lot, and it looks actually amazing. So with that being said, our first game was against Crystal Palace, and we were at home as well, which is always good to see being at home. And as you can see from our squad, we have likes of Hugo Lloris, John Terry, Eric Dyer, I think it's Luke Wilson, Luke Shaw, Holberg, Paulinho, Christian Eriksen, Kogi playing right midfield, Ramirez playing left midfield, and Eric Lamela up front. Because unfortunately for us, we couldn't confirm. We confirmed the Benzema signing at the end of last episode, but of course that was for like 5 minutes before this match could start. So unfortunately, we couldn't have Benzema in the squad. But he will be in the squad for the second match of this episode. And of course, I see the likes of Crystal Palace haven't really changed much. Likes of Williams, and Yannick Bolasie, Zaha, what's his name? Wilfred Zaha, and Dwight Gale playing up front for them. So with that being said, the game kicked off as you'd expect with us as being the home team, and this game was a really weird game because of course it's like my main first game playing with Tottenham, and we sort of played pretty decently, but Eric Lamela up front wasn't really working the way I was expecting it to work. As you see in the 33rd minute of the match, Ramirez on the ball basically runs past three players, gets a shot away, pretty decent shot, doesn't really come to anything, and all of the challenges going forward weren't really getting anywhere because of the fact, because they're Crystal Palace and they didn't actually have a proper striker up front. So in the 63rd minute of the match, they nearly actually scored from this indirect free kick, which was a bit ridiculous. But in the 72nd minute, Christian Eriksen ends up getting a really cheap goal. Unfortunately, the game recording sort of glitched out a bit. I actually do show you a replay in a second. But it was a pretty decent goal. Wasn't too special, but was what you expect from a goal, to be honest. I mean, he's a really good player. His close control is pretty decent as well. He just sort of skins past two players, gets a shot, but it takes a massive deflection, I think, off Koke, and it goes in the back of the net, and that was it. So in the last minutes of the match, Koke on the ball, tries to run past Yedinat, gets past him, gets a shot away. It's a really good strike, which is really easily saved by Julian Speroni. Goes out and basically clears the ball, and it comes to nothing, essentially, as you see there. And we win the first game 1-0, so pretty decent win. First game of the season, win the game 1-0, can't really complain. And we could always do worse than that, being said. So from of course the first game of the season, first game of the season we won the game, which was a pretty decent game, and two new players drawn to the squad, and those two new players of course were Heung-min Song and of course Karim Benzema. So we also looked out for another backup goalkeeper because of course, haven't got rid of Michel Vorm, didn't actually have a backup goalie, so I went out and bought a Polish goalkeeper. I'm not really particularly sure how to pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. I think it's Skorupski. But I also went out and got a David Stockdale as well, because he was just he was in my youth team, very 68 or something. But I also looked at some of the other players when you of course look at the players who could potentially leave your squad. Likes of Ben Davis, who was given 6 million for from Marseille. I think actually up it to about 8 million. I'm sure they actually accept that, so I'm gonna get quite a lot of money for this, and I thought with all this money I should potentially buy someone with it. So I actually go out and do actually buy someone by the end of this episode, and you will see who I actually end up going out to buy, because two players to actually go out and buy, because it sort of fills out the squad, and it wasn't too much of a strain on the money. I mean, I do actually end up going negative, but I'm not going to end up ending the season negative, having to sell one of my best players or anything like that. We'll of course get rid of Roberto Soldado to Newcastle United of all places. I don't think Newcastle fans will be happy with that. And finally, I think it's Benjamin Stambouli. He also goes to Marseille for about 4 million, or 3,100,000 if you want to be goddamn so tight on it. But as you see here, in the second game of this episode and last game of this episode, we faced up against Reading, and as you can see, our team is looking good. Like Lloris, Wilson, Terry, Dyer, Shaw, Holberg, Koke, Eriksen, Ramirez, Son, and Benzema playing throughout the whole team. So the team is looking ridiculously good. A lot of players on the bench, of course, as well. the likes of Yunus Kabul, even though I was trying to sell him, he just wouldn't sell at all. And I was actually interested because I actually bought the Ayan player and I'm not playing him at all because of the fact that Eric Dyer being at centre back is higher rated than I thought he was. I was only rated like 80, I think he was 82 at right back, and he'd be like 78 at centre back. But for some reason he's rated like 77 at right back and 82 at centre back. That Wilson player, I have no clue where he's from. If you do know, can you put it in the description below, because I generally trying to find him, I just cannot find him at all. So yeah, so but he's like rapid. Like I didn't know he was rapid. I was just playing him because the only other right back I have was Luke Wilson, and I thought, not Luke Wilson, Cal Naughton, and I thought 69 rated over 72. I think I'll take the 72 rated player, thank you very much. So Wilson sort of plays, he's probably going to end up being like my Hector Bellerin sort of character, so he's not that good, but he's pretty decent. He's just basically rapid in general. So in the 6th minute of the match, we're playing nice little 1-2 passes all over the pitch. Eventually Eriksen gets on the ball, should have probably played through Karen Benzema a little bit earlier. It does eventually get a shot away, and it's a pretty decent save from the goalkeeper. Within the 22nd minute of the match here, Benzema does pick up the ball here, like about 50 yards away from goal, plays a really nice through ball through to Koke. Koke just takes one opportunity and he pops in back in the net to basically score his first goal for the club, and scores to make it 1-0 against Reading. So a pretty decent goal as well. Nice little assist as well for Benzema. Benzema should be scoring those goals, but if he assists them, I'm not really too bothered. But in the 34th minute of the match here, Gaston Ramirez steals the ball off the player, pops in back in the net, gives it 2-0, makes it 2-0. And he scores his second goal for the club in his second game, which is just, well, his third game actually. So it's pretty ridiculous for Gaston Ramirez. He seems to be scoring all my goals. As you see here in the 42nd minute, he actually tries to play a cutback goal for Benzema, and it comes to nothing. He actually completely ruins it because his first touch was horrendous. But at half time it was 2-0 to us, which is pretty decent. 5 shots, 4 on target. Reading hadn't even have a shot yet. Yes, we were dominating on possession, but we were playing better than them. In the 63rd minute of the match, Son on the ball, basically waited for Ramirez to make a run. Didn't really make a run, didn't really come to anything, and Ramirez's shot was pretty poor. But again, in the 80th minute of the match, Ramirez gets played for on goal by Benzema again. So Benzema on his debut gets 2 assists, which is pretty decent. And, or was it 3 assists? I'm sure it was only 2 assists, but 2 or 3 assists. We win the game 3-0, and Gaston Ramirez scores 2 goals for the club, which is just ridiculously good, as we see there again. 7 shots, 6 on target. Reading didn't even have a shot. And as you see here from the final table at the end of the 2nd episode, we are 2nd in the table for some reason. Leicester are top on goal difference, and as you see here, Skorupski does join the squad. So Skorupski joined the squad. Best player in Europe award went to Vivkovic from Ajax. Gareth Bale was 2nd and Aaron Ramsey was 3rd, which is always interesting to see. And we end up selling Ben Davies for about 7 million to Marseille. So using that money with the 26 million we actually had, I was looking at some players to buy, and of course we were just selling a lot of midfielders. So you get the backup players to get in instead of just playing like Leon Osman and Scott Parker, which is beneficial for them, but not really beneficial for what I want to aim for this season. I went out and bought Radicevic from Napoli, and I ended up paying like 4 to 6 million for him. And I also went out and looked at Stefan El Shaarawy, who was playing for Manchester United at the time. I ended up paying 18 million for him, roughly, ever so much. And we pay him like we're paying like 3.6 million per year, which is pretty decent. And an 85 rated player, pretty good as well. So we end up getting both of these players in. El Shaarawy for 21 million, that's just what they actually wanted for him, which is quite a lot of money, but he's worth it because he's going to be like the straight up first left midfield. And Radicevic was about 6 million roughly. Actually it's 4 million, but you have to pay for his thing as well. So after that we end up actually going into debt once we end up doing the paying thing at the end. You know how it is when you pay money for the end of the season, you pay the salaries for the year. Logic. We end up going into debt, but it doesn't matter because we'll get out of it probably about halfway through the season anyway, because that's how we roll. But as you see here from the final squad, this is our final squad going into matches. It will be Hugo Lloris, Luke or L Wilson. I'm going to call him Luke Wilson for now, unless someone finds out who he is. John Terry, Eric Dyer, Luke Shaw. I'm going to assume it's Patrick Holberg, Koke, Christian Eriksen, Gaston Ramirez. El Shaarawy will be playing left midfield, and Karim Benzema up front. What a goddamn team. My god. So if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe my channel for more, and catch you later.